Dream Team, I'm telling you, is just on fire right now. They have uncovered more voter fraud in the big red state, Texas. Thousands of illegals on ballots in Texas, and we've got the receipts today. The Democrats said it doesn't exist, it's not happening. Well, guess what? It is, and we're uncovering it. We also have news for you this morning on another $100 billion scam that was given for minority firms during the Biden administration. And again, now we have another investigation started into this $100 billion scam because we have all the video evidence, everybody. Trump's Dream Team is going after everything that's being uncovered, and it's happening now. I love this, everybody. If you love this, if you love what you're seeing on the front with Trump, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, that right there, I'm telling you, is such a big win. $100 billion scam. I see slush fund for the Democrats. Not only that, Trump is set to deport the most illegals in American history this year, over 600,000. And yes, Trump has agreed, and this is a weird one, guys. Trump, this is from the White House, has agreed to restart student loan forgiveness that the Biden administration started, which I don't get whatsoever. And Medicare and Social Security updates are here, and they're big. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I'm telling you, a Texas election review has identified thousands of illegal immigrants on the state's voter rolls. Texas Secretary of State Jane Nelson said they cross-checked of state voter records, found that more than 2,700 illegal immigrants were registered on the voter rolls, leading to an eligibility review across all 254 counties. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I promise you, we've got over hundreds of thousands of people on our voter rolls that shouldn't be there, and we're finally cleaning them up. But Trump yesterday got one of the biggest wins ever, guys. I'm telling you, this is huge. The Ninth Circuit just gave President Trump the green light to deploy the Oregon National Guard into Portland. A major win for law and order and a blow to the Democrats that are just trying to cause chaos by saying, oh, there's nothing wrong. They're just lighting buses on fire, trying to destroy ICE facilities. Well, boom. Trump wins with the Ninth Circuit to deploy the National Guard. We also have it again, guys. This is so big because remember, it's not just about firing people. It's about getting to the money. James O'Keefe exposed a $100 billion federal contracting scam released this morning where a minority-owned firm won a no-bid government contract. No bids. This is so stupid. But outsourced 80% of the work illegally, creating just a pass-through scheme. This is where whenever you get one of these no-bid contracts, your company is supposed to complete 50% of the work. They're literally just passing it off and banking tens of billions of dollars. And now we actually have it for one of Trump's cabinet's secretaries that they are now investigating this huge fraud. The White House, again, has just restarted student loan forgiveness for over 2.5 million borrowers in 2 income-driven repayment plans after the Republicans blocked it earlier this year. And again, this is from the White House official. Let me know your thoughts because some of this stuff is just like, what? Trump is considering commuting Diddy's 50-month prison sentence as early as this week, according to a senior White House official. Now, why would Trump commute Diddy's 50-month prison sentence? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. And I don't agree with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I'm telling you, crazy stuff is coming in today's show. Tons of breaking news. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for all your support. We are here to serve you and want to say thank you. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting the subscribe button so we can take care of you every day. with the breaking news. I want to say thank you to everybody that gives to our channel. Remember, on the 22nd of every single month, we donate live on stream, everybody, and we're changing lives. I want to give some special love to those that have given. Sherry Adaremi, show Sherry Adaremi some love in the chat. Steve Paulsonelli, thank you so much, Steve. And William Shuey, show them some love in the chat. Thank y'all so much for your support. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, this is big, everybody. While everybody else is out there trying to make all this fake news about Trump, Trump is actually getting things done. Listen to this.
No one really thinks Trump's king. It just seems like it because he works harder than Biden.
I'm not a king. I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
If Trump was king, there'd be no march, no MSNBC calling him Nazi, and no shutdown. The funny thing is, the left actually loves the government telling them what to do, what car to drive, what shot to get, what health care to have. During the pandemic, Democrat kings and queens told you to close your business, what to wear on your face, how far away you could stand next to someone. They told you couldn't have grandma over for Thanksgiving, and liberals obeyed. They took away your First Amendment rights, and Democrats said, good, free speech is dangerous. They tried to take away your Second Amendment right. Democrats said, good, no one needs a rifle. There's nothing the left loves more than submitting to government power.
Wow.
But Robert De Niro says, if you love freedom, you're a brainwashed hick.
Somewhere way out in the Midwest, somewhere out in the out west, in certain places, the rural places. That's the truth. Because he gets the airtime. And I think that we need more airtime, just more push against and not. I wish that you can't do this in some ways, but that the news media could find ways to kind of ignore or tamp down nonsense from Trump.
The Democrat Party rigged the primary, stole Biden's votes, crowned Kamala, and tried to put their rival in prison. And if you were a reporter who told the truth about Biden, they'd cut off your access. Trump talks to the press every day. Would a king do that? And if the press broke a mirror in the map room, would he let him live?
Oh, you gotta watch that. Watch that. You're not allowed to break that. That mirror is 400 years old. A camera just hit the mirror. Ay.
Let me tell you this, everybody. I am so fed up with some of the stuff that is breaking news today. Texas finds thousands of illegal immigrants registered to vote on state voter rolls. You saw where over the years Texas has gotten more blue. This is the reason why, everybody. And now, because of this, Secretary of State Jane Nelson said they're going to go through and audit 254 counties all in the state of Texas to make sure they remove every single voter that is not supposed to be there. And all the while, you have Chicago area judges who are ruling that ICE agents can be arrested at courthouses when they're trying to get illegal migrants. It is literally a fight between good and evil, everybody. Right and wrong. How in the world is it possible that these judges have so much power that they can go against the federal government like this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I also wanted to show you this because a lot of people may not believe me, but this is coming from a ton of reputable sources like Mario Nawfal. This is a big guy, 2.6 million followers. Trump is considering commuting Diddy's 50-month prison sentence as early as this week, according to a senior White House official. Now, this is big, everybody. Why is Trump trying to get more clout with the black community? Is because there's no reason with everything that we saw that this dude should be out early. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you appreciate our breaking news, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. B1 Sly One, let's go with the super chat. I love it. 1776. Monthly charity donation for the proud Americans in the chat who can't afford it, but join us daily. Hey, brother, you are an OG, moderator of the channel as well. Show B1 Sly One some love in the chat.
And look what happens when they keep calling us Nazis.
Who are you gonna kill?
Nazis.
Who do you define as a Nazi?
What
do you mean? It's pretty...
In this context, who's a Nazi?
Stephen Miller's a Nazi.
So you're going to kill Stephen Miller?
If I had the chance, yeah, I would.
Once you crack the surface
Stephen
at No
Miller.
Kings, there's a dark and violent underbelly seething with hatred.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out. This thing.
Did you just hear that, everybody? You've got to take a firearm, turn it around, and wipe out these ICE agents. This is as bad as it gets, okay? I don't know about y'all, but again, the more and more that we reveal this stuff, and that's why I appreciate so much when you share our videos, because everybody needs to see this is not okay what is coming out from the left and just in complete losing their minds over Trump fulfilling his campaign promises that the majority of Americans voted for, all 7 swing states, the popular vote. This is nuts.
The state machinery, that's a full display right there, has to get wiped out.
One woman with a Mexican flag was mocking Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck when a MAGA truck rolled by. Who is this woman? Well, she's a teacher at an elementary school. These are the people in charge of our kids. Isn't it crazy how every time we ID these maniacs, they happen to be teachers or professors? What is it about the left and death?
Okay, so for a birthday present, what do you hope happens? You know, you wake up tomorrow morning.
I hope that I see the obituary that we're all waiting for tomorrow. That's what I hope for.
God.
Wishing that President Trump is dead?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Trump was already shot in the head and almost killed during a round of golf. The Secret Service just found a sniper's nest in Palm Beach with a direct line of sight to Air Force One.
This hunting stand was appropriately dismantled, is being flown to our lab. I believe it's there right now. And all of the forensic tools we have, from digital tools to biometric tools, they are all going to be applied to try to find out who put this up there and why.
In North Carolina, shots were fired over a Trump flag. A guy didn't like that a guy had a MAGA and flag over his house and then went and ripped it down. And then he came back in his vehicle, aimed a pistol from the sunroof, and fired shots at his property. The vigilante...
You tell me, everybody, how violent things are getting. This is one of the most disgusting things. Again, people on the left are losing it. This was a person at the No Kings rally who literally dressed up like the former Charlie Kirk who got assassinated in the most disgusting way. Now you tell me, where is this okay? Where is common ground okay with these people? It's actually this person right here. And we are seeing the left literally lose it. No common sense. This is evil, everybody. This is 100% complete evil. And again, what did they try to do? This is what Stephen Miller actually posted last night. One of Trump's deputy chief of staff is that they brought in an invasion into our country, okay? They knew that nobody would continue to believe their lunatic ideologies and they would lose it. So what did they have to do? They had to import voters. And that's why, again, everybody, 2026 is so important. Getting this voice out is so important. People seeing the receipts is so important to the cause because we cannot continue to have these type of people in leadership.
And he's been arrested. Is this what we're doing now in America? We're shooting people over politics? Liberals have lost the argument, they've lost the election, and now they've lost their minds. Trump won the popular vote. That doesn't make him king, it makes him president. And he's taken a lot of action because Biden left such a mess. The president has a mandate to stop migrants, drugs, wars, and crime, and so far he's doing a really good job. And the Supreme Court says everything he's doing is legal.
Let's go, baby.
It was actually Biden that the Supreme Court ruled against over and over and over again. Just because there's a lot of gold in the White House doesn't mean he's sitting on a throne. Trump spent his weekend demolishing the East Wing to make room for a big, beautiful ballroom. Vance hung out with the Marines at Camp Pendleton.
Hoorah, Marines! I didn't hear you. Hoorah, Marines!
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's the
Pete
Secretary
Hegseth.
of War. Pete spent the weekend doing flyovers in fighter jets. Oh, it was also No King's Day.
Here at the friendly neighborhood Burger King, enjoying my No King's Day with some traditional flame broiled goodness in my hand right now. Like it says right there, get ready to eat like royalty. You rule, America. We don't have a king in this country. We've got a president. He's doing a pretty darn good job.
Now, if you don't know what No King's Day is, you're not alone. Maybe you went downtown and got stuck in traffic and wondered, is that a transgender shark?
Why are you here today?
I'm here to stand up against our regime's oppression against the American people and immigrants in our country and minorities, and including trans people like myself.
I am the Unity Unicorn. I've got my head out of my costume because I can't breathe right now, but we're here doing a peaceful protest.
Look, y'all, I'm telling you this, that's why this stuff wins out, because when you dress up as a Unity Unicorn, you're living in a different reality than the rest of us, and it doesn't make any sense. But the federal court ruled Trump can deploy the National Guard to Portland. Too much chaos is happening from people that are not living in the same reality as us. It is mind-blowing, makes no sense whatsoever, but I'm glad that at the highest level, guess what? We are winning huge, huge wins for MAGA. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Colleen Beaver, let's go with the super chat. So what is wrong with these people? It has to be total evil. It would be totally scary if God wasn't here right now. Amen, amen, amen. Show Colleen some love in the chat. Also want to show you this again. Promises made, promises kept right now. Trump, record deportations, 515,000 illegal migrants deported, 1.6 million voluntarily self-deported, and then 485,000 arrested. This is huge, everybody. This right here, we're talking about by the end of the year, we could be around 3 million in Trump's first year. Now, we know there's between 20 to 20 million that came in illegally, but this is a big win. If we can just keep the momentum, what you're about to hear next, again, so much stuff is happening in the White House, everybody. This is where we're bringing you the breaking news because we have to keep the winning going.
Okay, anyway, as they get more and more desperate, they're obviously anti-democratic. You saw what the illegitimate regime did. They stole the 2020 election. Yes, they did. They stole the 2020 election, and then they clamped down with the vaccine mandates, right? They ran this like the Bolsheviks ran things. Remember the billboards about people that, if you know anybody that went to January 6th or whatever, the lives of others, like the East Germans and the Stasi. So we know what they're like. That's why you back President Trump. Yes, you, this audience, backed President Trump, put your shoulder to the wheel immediately and said, no, it's not going to be Ron DeSantis, it's not going to be Nikki Haley. Trump's coming back, and we're going to set things right here. So the American Cincinnatus, that would be Donald Trump, and you are his legions. And the left is going to become more and more apparent because of demographic shifts in the nation and geographic shifts in the nation, that structurally it's going to be harder and harder and harder for the Democrats to actually take back the institutions. This is why I say maximalist strategy, move with urgency, and seize the institutions.
Let's go.
While seizing the institutions. And they're going to get more and more violent and more dangerous, and they're going to be putting up guys like Mandami in these big urban areas where they can get all the illegal aliens in and get them somehow to vote. That's why you have to have ICE officers at the polls in 2026 and, be rolling up people and arresting people in mass deportations. That'll get their attention. I want to play, though, President Trump as providential. I had a ringside seat And President Trump is not churchy, not particularly, I don't know, not particularly churchy, okay? But he is an instrument of divine will, and he's a providential figure. Of that, it's obvious. The facts lay it out. The historic day. By the way, the last speaker.
I want to show you this, everybody, because again, too, it is just broke the news this morning, early morning, that Texas finds thousands of illegal immigrants registered to vote on state voter rolls. You cannot make this up, everybody. If you appreciate what we're bringing to you, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, I'm telling you stuff. We bring things before mainstream media, before a lot of breaking news. Nelson said, this is the Texas Secretary of State, said after they cross-checked records, found that more than 2,700 possible illegal immigrants were registered on voter rolls, leading to an eligibility review across the 254 counties. This right here is 100% real, everybody. When this happened, they knew what they were doing. And again, I love it how, I fact check these things, guys. And whenever people post things like this, because on average, how much money does illegal immigrants send back out of the United States? About 50. This person put $56 billion in cash. There's actually, this is with even migrants that are living here legally. It totals to around $100 billion that is sent out of our country to other countries around the world, wherever their families are at. They come here to work, send the money out, and what does that do to the economy? What does that do? Because again, you're going to say, well, that's only $100 billion. Okay, over 10 years, that's $1 trillion. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of things that could be bought. But again, what are the benefits that they're getting? Free tuition, free lunches, free Medicare, free healthcare, things like that. This is the stuff that, again, we bring the receipts, y'all. Jane Joe, let's go with the super chat. I love it. Show Jane Joe some love in the chat. Said, pray for DJ T. Vance, Wilkoff, Stephen Miller, Hexeth Patel, Bongino, Gabbard, Noam, Bondi, RK Jr., Governor Abbott, etc. Daily good versus evil. Prayers and worship are weapons. Jesus is king. Amen. I love it. Hey, you're talking to a big worshiper right here, y'all. I love it. Show Jane Joe some love in the chat, as well as our boy Jim Barbato, OG of the channel, said thank you. Show Jim some love in the chat. Hey, Jim's a real one. Thank you so much, brother. The fight is real, and it's only beginning, guys. What you're about to hear next, the next steps that Trump is taking, some big things are coming out because we have to win the midterms. There's no other option. Listen to this.
He's saying that no kings is going to give backup to pillars of the regime to like work against President Trump, the military, or the just what? No Kings was an epic fail. Now they're breaking it down to a couple of 100,000 people showed up in New York and Chicago and places like that where you can have any kind of protest and get a couple 100,000 to show up. It's no 7 million. That's a joke. No, everybody knows that. And it's just a bunch of old white, a bunch of old white liberals, teachers, college professors, other irrelevant people wandering around. If that's what you're counting on, George Soros's money not well spent. You're taking it in a barrel out into the front yard and just burned it. No, I don't think that's going to give anybody any. Oh, I feel so. No Kings was so massive. I think I can go and countermand the commander-in-chief's orders. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be. I don't think you see a lot of that. If that's what you're hoping for, epic fail. Also, the courts. Yeah, go to Portland, and you heard the big. These are the same people that said, this is going to be backed up by the appellate court, this is going to be backed up all the way to the Supreme Court, and now they're running around for all the reasons that, really, they're just trying to get through this. And no, President Trump's got full power. You heard this one before? Article 2 power. In fact, can we pull, I think I got it too. It's up on Getter. Maria Bartiromo yesterday. President Trump used my best phrase, the best phrase ever. He goes, hey, Maria, you do know that I'm the chief law enforcement officer of the United States government. Ba-boom.
Let me tell you this, guys, because I'm telling you, it's across the board that these other news stations want to air what was just said. That these No Kings protests was primarily, like, I'm talking about like 90% of older white boomers protesting over this. And you saw some of it. It is hilarious because, again, too, it's going to make sense that it is primarily white boomers because the majority of America is white, 2/3. But it's funny that in the crowds, not much black people, not much Hispanics. And now they're saying it on CNN, and it's hilarious.
These protests were overwhelmingly white. They were overwhelmingly elderly people, older people. Now, again, you know, white boomers have the right to have a mass therapy session about the fact that Donald Trump won. But to call it a No Kings protest, to act like he is a king, is so utterly preposterous. This is a man who won the popular vote. He won every swing state. He is a person who is enacting the exact agenda he promised he was going to enact while he was campaigning. And so what they are actually protesting is the absolute perfection of American democracy, where a person campaigned on an agenda, won the popular vote, and is now enacting that agenda. So it was actually a protest of democracy, all of which is to say the only way to greet such a preposterous proposition, calling this a No Kings rally when it's actually an anti-democracy rally, is to crap on it. I'm sorry, is to basically make fun of it. And I think that that has been the Trump administration's approach. They didn't try to stop it, God forbid, because he's not a king. They allowed them to have their say. They allowed them to go out there, and then they made fun of them.
Let me tell you this. You think that the justice is stopping with just that? We just got some breaking news 5 minutes ago, everybody. I'm telling you, we bring it here. House Judiciary Chairman Representative Jim Jordan just criminally referred John Brennan to the DOJ for lying to Congress. Here is the actual receipt. I'm telling you, everybody. He said Brennan falsely denied that the CIA relied on the discredited Steele dossier in drafting the post-election intelligence community assessment, the ICA. This right here is accountability. We're just stacking up the criminal referrals at the DOJ right now to go after these corrupt people, make sure that we continue to bring justice to America. I love this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Georgina Budney, let's go with the super chat. I love it. Show Georgina some love in the chat. I don't know if that's me in the chair, but I'll take it. I love it. We're winning. We got updates for you today, guys, over what's going on in the Republicans. Trump's talking to them today, but a lot of people are getting really fed up with how long this is taking. And again, no solutions besides give us $1.5 trillion. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Listen to this.
Take it away. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. As Speaker Johnson already said, today marks the 21st day of the Schumer shutdown. Democrats' political games are hurting hardworking Americans. This week, essential federal workers won't receive their paychecks because Democrats voted against paying them. That includes Border Patrol, CBP agents, TSA, FAA staff, DOD civilians, FEMA responders, and Capitol Police officers. The overwhelming majority of Americans oppose this Democrat shutdown. Democrats know it, so they're trying to distract from the fact that they shut down the government by pushing a false narrative about President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Let me be clear. No one is protecting Epstein or his associates. The House Oversight Committee is conducting a thorough review of the federal government's handling of the Epstein investigation, one that goes far beyond the discharge petition the legacy media is obsessed with. To date, the Oversight Committee has released over 43,000 pages of documents and issued 13 subpoenas. We've conducted a deposition with former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr.
Let's go.
And a transcribed interview with former U.S. Labor Secretary Alex Acosta. I don't think I need to remind anyone in here, they are both Republicans and both former cabinet secretaries in the Trump administration. And guess what? Those interviews completely debunk the Democrat smear against President Trump. Barr stated that there was no evidence that President Trump was involved in Epstein's criminal activity. Acosta confirmed there was no contact with President Trump during the Florida case. No link, no conversations, nothing. Despite these facts, Democrats, especially Ranking Member Garcia, continue to spread lies about President Trump. And they are lies. They're infected with an incurable case of Trump derangement syndrome. Oversight Committee Democrats post daily about Epstein. In fact, they've posted or reposted about Epstein nearly 60 times on X since the shutdown began. You know how many times they posted about essential federal workers not receiving paychecks because they voted against funding the government? Once. They've posted about that once on the Democrat Oversight Committee and over 60 times about Epstein. You see where their priorities are. Let's be clear. Democrats don't care about transparency or accountability in this matter. The evidence we've gathered does not implicate President Trump in any way. Public reporting, survivor testimony, and official documents show that Bill Clinton had far closer ties to Epstein. We're working to bring former President Clinton in for a deposition, but the Democrats aren't helping one bit. You would think, since we've already brought two former Trump cabinet secretaries in, they would be willing to bring in a Democrat who's had publicly a far closer relationship with especially Maxwell and Epstein. So why is that? That's a question every reporter should be asking Ranking Member Garcia and every Democrat on the committee. Why aren't you helping to bring Bill Clinton in for an interview and deposition just like we brought in Barr and Acosta? The Oversight Committee remains committed to accountability and transparency for the American people and for Epstein's victims. Our investigation has not stopped during this shutdown. We've released more documents just this past Friday. Democrats need to stop playing games and vote to reopen the government. With that, I yield back.
Guys, I'm telling you, the stuff that they're releasing today, the subpoenas that are going out, all the scandals. Look at this right here. I know this is hilarious to see right here, but James O'Keefe had a video recording with one of the ATI's contract manager, Melaine Cromwell. They scored a $100 million no-bid government contract while outsourcing 80% of the labor to subcontractors. They're supposed to do at least 50% of the work. All right? So listen to this. Kelly Loeffler, who is a part of the SBA, has launched an investigation into the ATI government solutions now that this new information has come out. Again, she said, James O'Keefe has exposed the important truth. Like every other government program rooted in DEI, program is rife with grift and fraud. This is what's happening behind the scenes, stuff that doesn't get talked about, but Trump's cabinet team holding people accountable, baby. This is what we voted for, and this is winning. And again, so much fraud, so much it's just wrong. And that's why, again, I want to move into our sponsor real quick because it matters. Right now, government shut down. A lot of people are asking about Social Security updates, Medicare updates, Medicaid, things like that. No matter what, we're in an open enrollment right now. And when you don't have all the resources to go in and compare every single Medicare plan out there, if you're on Medicare and you don't, there's just so many. There's hundreds, y'all. And this is why it's so important that you partner with somebody who's not only going to take care of you. Like, the reason we do this is because Chapter is free. They compare every single Medicare plan, and they actually do a great job. We've had so many people on this channel that have used them and said, Joel, they save me $650. They save me $1,400. Joel, they save me $1,000. On average, they save seniors on average $1,100 a year. And that's why I love it. And we partner with them because they actually do what they say they're going to do. And again, with everything going on, y'all, how much can we truly trust that you're getting taken care of and you're only paying what you need to pay? That's why I recommend Chapter. You can call them up at 667-895-3015. They're going to take care of you. They're going to make sure that you get the best plan out there. You pay the least amount of money, only what you need to pay, so that you can continue to have as much money in your pocket that you rightly deserved. Because I'm telling you this, the more that we find out things like this, thousands of illegal immigrants registered to vote on state voter rolls, if they can get on a state voter roll, then they can get on Medicare benefits plans, they can get on Medicaid, and that's why we tell you, you need to be supported. Go call Chapter. It's free. Tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News, 667-895-3015. They're going to get you taken care of, everybody. Show Andrea Parker some love in the chat. I love it. Thank you so much for your support, Andrea, member of the channel. We appreciate y'all very much. We want to make sure that we support you in every way possible on this channel with the breaking news and also with the right sponsors that can support you. Listen to this.
House and Senate Democrats to prolong the pain and keep the government closed. So we want to talk very briefly with you this morning about what that means, and then we're going to give you a little update on the Epstein matter. So far, this is what it means. So far, what this shutdown has caused to the economy and to the people of this country is really unconscionable. The U.S. economy has now lost hundreds of billions of dollars. We have federal workers who are desperate for pay and uncertain when they will get their next paycheck. You got families wondering if they'll go without food assistance next month because many people rely upon that. New federal loans and disaster aid have come to a complete halt, and the stewards of our nuclear defense stockpile are being sent home on furlough. Think of the implications of all this. All of it hurts the economy, it hurts our national security, and it hurts the American people, and the Democrats seem not to care. I was watching Republican Senate Majority Whip Barrasso this morning on an interview, and he said it, I think, very succinctly. He said the Democrats are practicing the politics of pain. I'm not sure I could say that any better. That's exactly what it is. And you think of what's happening right now. Think of what they have demanded in exchange as a ransom, the hostage they've taken to reopen the government. They're demanding taxpayer-funded health benefits be restored to illegal aliens. They're demanding that we spend billions of dollars overseas for ridiculous programs that the American people do not support. They want to claw back the $50 billion that we just got signed into law on July 4th to support our rural hospitals and all sorts of other crazy things. They're demanding taxpayer-funded health benefits for illegal aliens instead of agreeing to pay our men and women in uniform and provide vital health services and all the things that our most vulnerable Americans depend upon. It is unforgivable. And this is an indisputable fact. Everybody can see this, and everybody in this room knows what I'm about to say is true. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are terrified of their far left base in New York and around the country. So they have given in to their demands to shut down the government so that they themselves can get the left's approval and somehow salvage their political careers. That is the whole story in one sentence, okay? That's why Schumer said shamelessly that every day of the shutdown gets better for us. Who's the us? He's talking about he and Hakeem and the Democrats who are afraid of the far left base. So today I want to put a finer point on some of the very real consequences we're seeing and what they mean for Americans around the country. And I'll zoom in on some of these key Democrat states where the senators continue to dig their heels in and vote against opening the government. Yesterday from NBC News, here's the headline: air traffic control staffing issues cause flight delays across the country. The Secretary of Transportation said 53% of flight delays are now due to staffing issues, and usually that number is 5%. From Colorado, food banks face growing crises as shutdown impacts become a reality. That's the headline from Sky High News. What are Colorado's two Democrat senators doing? You've got Hickenlooper and Bennett. They have both now voted 11 times to keep the government closed.
11 times.
Virginia. Here's the headline yesterday, KSL. Virginia employees fear shutdown's impact on veterans' medical care. And meanwhile, their two Democrat senators, Tim Kaine and Mark Warner, have voted repeatedly to put their thumb in the eye of those veterans. And they won't end this pain. From Hawaii.
And I want to show you real quick, everybody, because remember, it's about layering on the context, the news, and even on CNN, how we're showing you that they brought somebody on that they wish they didn't bring on because this dude lays the facts. of what the Democrats are really fighting for. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Listen to this.
Illegal immigrants are not the reason why our healthcare system is broken.
Yeah, it's not deflection at all. In fact, I brought receipts. So here's the CMS, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, right here with their press release earlier this year saying they were having to increase their oversight on states like California who were abusing Medicaid and classifying it as an EUSA, an emergency system, when it wasn't. You've got the average state spends 5% of its Medicaid roughly on emergency services. California, 35 to 40%. Why would that be? Because California passed a state law that says we will fund Medicaid for illegals, and then, oh, by the way, we'll raise our provider taxes, and then, oh, by the way, we'll use that as a match to draw down federal funds. And they're using this whole cavitation process.
An accounting trick to put it on the taxpayer.
Money is fungible, and California's loophole is abusing it.
Listen, and we...
All right, back from CNN. Ooh, that was a lively one. And they hate it when you bring receipts.
That's the most important thing, everybody. It's always about the receipts. And I love it because, again, too, we're showing you this is the reason why they shut down the government.
Hawaii News Now says, headline, government shutdown impacts telehealth for seniors in Hawaii. Seniors in Hawaii rely upon telehealth. Guess who's shutting it down? There are two Democrat senators, Brian Schatz and Mazie Hirono, voted again and again to keep the government closed and disrupt the health services for seniors in their own state. They've got a lot to answer to. From California, here's a headline, ABC 7 News. Alameda food banks step in to help TSA workers, families impacted by government shutdown. That is disgusting. And both of California's senators, Padilla and Schiff, have voted 11 times to block the pay of those TSA agents and their families, the paychecks they rely upon. From Illinois, WIFR, yesterday, federal courts in northern Illinois reduce operations due to government shutdown. The courts are reducing operations, and you've got Illinois Democrats, Senators Duckworth and Durbin have voted to keep the government closed. We could do this all day long. That's a sample. Democrats used to care about the harm that shutdowns caused hardworking Americans, but now we can all see very clearly that was always based on politics and not principle, because they have thrown the principle out the window. And yesterday, there was an article from The Hill that laid bare that very fact. A Democrat senator was speaking anonymously and admitted, quote, people are going to get hammered if they vote for the House passed bill to reopen the government. The clean, nonpartisan CR, they're going to get hammered. Another insider said in that same story, quote, we would have enough votes to reopen the government if people were not terrified of getting the guillotine. Okay? They mean it metaphorically, but in a political sense, that's exactly what they're concerned about. And think about the fact that we're just laying out here. These are simple facts. We come out here every morning and remind the American people of what's going on. Do not let them distract you from the facts. The American people would have an open government if Democrats were not terrified of their radical base. That is the headline. Every single one of you should write that. That's the ugly truth. The Democrats are not governing in good faith. They're covering their own tail. They're out here decrying the so-called forthcoming health care crisis, they say. It's the one that they themselves created. The Democrats created Obamacare. They're the ones that created a subsidy with an expiration date. Yep. They're the ones that did all of this. Republicans are trying to fix it.
And remember, if we do not allow the subsidies to continue for Obamacare, guess what happens to Obamacare? Out the door, everybody. This is, again, everything that we've heard from the left-leaning side, lots of lies, just complete gaslighting of the American people. And I'm bringing in more receipts, everybody, to show you the new data and information that we have found. You cannot make this stuff up. This is audits after the fact of all the data that we've been brought in the past 5 years, all lies from the left. Listen to this.
According to a new report from our very own Charlie Gasparino, the U.S. Department of Justice has uncovered evidence suggesting that Democrat politicians have been skewing crime statistics on their own behalf ahead of the midterm elections. Okay, Charlie, what do you got on this?
I have sources in the DOJ. They've been crunching numbers. They found something really interesting. And in all these big all these states that you see the governors now opposing Trump, J.B. Pritzker in Illinois, based on crime stats in Chicago that are going down. Gavin Newsom just put out a tweet about how murders are falling dramatically in, I don't know, San Francisco. I believe that it just came out. Go down the line, L.A. What I understand from inside the Trump administration is they've been looking at the police practices in these cities. Now, it would be interesting if they release these stats, and they may for the midterms. In each of these places that are touting double-digit declines, they've also often found rampant evidence of prosecutors not prosecuting felonies, basically busting down felonies for assault. You know, various forms of burglary, larceny, busting them down to misdemeanors. Thus, you show violent crimes and
like
felonies
they're not happening.
declining dramatically. And if you want an example, I was pointed to the one case of this knife-wielding lunatic, sword-wielding lunatic that stomped on some guy's head in Brooklyn. The guy's name was Nicola Tanzi. He was apparently from everything. He was a model citizen, big in his church. He was just hanging out in the subway. And this guy that is...
He held the door for a guy.
Yeah, held the door for the same guy. This guy came and stomped his head in. If you go back, the guy... And killed him, by the way. If you go back, the guy was let off on an assault charge, busted down to a misdemeanor. He was literally just let off in July on that.
Are you kidding me?
Times thousands is how you get Gavin Newsom crowing about lower crime rates.
Well, data, there's lies, damn lies, and statistics, right? So you got to get the underlying...
I'm telling you, everybody, it literally makes me so furious because, again, it's always trying to cover up one side's just failed policies that nobody voted for. Look at this. Trump's immigration policies are delivering results with over 515,000 illegal aliens deported since his return to office. 515,000. We're just barely scratching the surface of it. Want to say thank you so much, Jog Haws, for the super chat. Let's go. Show Jog Haws some love in the chat. I love the name. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, our boy Robert Cash with the super chat. So there should be a way to override this. They are hurting the American people. Enough is enough. The government needs to be opened. Amen, brother. Let me tell you this. It is about dang time that we finally get to a point where there has to be this, and they've talked about it, the nuclear option to fight against holding the entire United States hostage. That's where we're at right now. People are fed up. Listen to this polling, and a lot of things are about to change. Listen to this.
And I think that we are not hitting this idea of accountability hard enough, because I'm telling you, I try and stay rooted in this like sort of Zoomer online culture more so than I think most people. And what's being talked about isn't like, oh, isn't it great? Republicans are giving us everything they voted for. It's like, no, why isn't this system burning down fast enough? That's, I think, accurately captures what I see anecdotally on the internet.
Let me ask you, is Bobby Kennedy, because, you know, recently, ever since they held back the $500 million in research for Big Pharma, and maybe it hasn't been pounded hard enough, but you can see he's started getting traction. Is that resonating with anybody, or because I keep recommending they got to go bigger on their media narrative? You got Bobby Kennedy, you got the president, but it's not having the push that you have to do to get through the white noise. Do you think that Bobby Kennedy's actions are enough, at least to turn it around with some of these people? And do you think the messaging is amplified enough and at such a scale that it's going to break through the white noise and get to the American people?
Remember the days of thunder? Remember the shock and awe as we saw USAID funding network piping all this money into leftist NGOs?
Yes.
We automatically realized, no, it's not George Soros that's just doing this for ideological reasons. It's a whole web of leverage, basically of arbitrage, of influence arbitrage. and how when you and I were processing all that stuff, you probably knew about it, but for me, it was an eye-opener. This is way worse than we thought, but also more systematic and understandable than we thought. There was like an aha moment. Well, in the polling, it's almost like America reflexively felt that too, because we were setting right direction records. Remember, 60% of 18 to 39-year-olds were like, yeah, we're going to get a second golden age under Trump. Like, this is happening. He had a 60% approval rating among 18 to 29s. Like, it was wild. And it was because of Doge, and it was because I think this idea of, I don't think there's any specific one thing that America knows, well, if I got that, we'll be happy, everything will be fixed. But I think it's this pot of boiling water that we're still sitting in. People, I think, will start to, connect the dots and say, well, not enough of this has been changed. And so, again, we need to see more, and I can't specifically say what that is because I'm not looking at the grand juries. I don't know what evidence they have on these people. But we need to know because, again, I don't want to get anybody sued for defamation here, Steve. But when you hear the story specifically about how that one drug used pretty ubiquitously in the hospital treatment protocols got its emergency use authorization and what safety trials were done and the people involved and whether they used to be at regulatory agencies and then became not and they went to industry, it stinks. It absolutely stinks. And people in this polling are tying the treatment protocols to deaths, like real deaths in a non-partisan way. I mean, and again, people can say, oh, it's not polling. You're just polling people who answer polls. It's like, okay, I defy anybody in the industry to prove me wrong.
Hang on for a second.
Let me tell you this. Every single thing that we are proving, and we're showing you the receipts, everybody, on this channel, things are happening. Representative Jim Jordan just a while ago referred to the Department of Justice for criminal prosecution John Brennan for his part involving the Steele dossier, the Russia collusion hoax, and all that with Trump. This is big, big stuff, everybody. Straight from the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what we voted for. This is big, big, big stuff that, again, if we do not criminally prosecute people at the highest level that are breaking the law, there will always be in feel of this two-tier justice system. And this is where a lot of people lose faith and they don't vote. And this is where we have to restore faith into the justice system. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Oh, and I want to get your coordinates, but I have one question. I think intuitively, the 18 to 30-year-old, 18 to 29-year-old understand. This is why I say the most based generation, particularly young men in American history. They intuitively know, why did people do this? Why, all the action you talk about, they did it for one reason. What was that reason?
I mean, the system has been destroyed. These people should be inheriting America in its golden age. They should be the most optimistic, and they think the system's failed them. They don't look to their future with optimism. Many of them are suffering from mental health. They've been literally turned into the pariah of our modern society, and they're angry now, and they're not conservative. And we've talked about this a lot, and I'll just say one thing for the Trump administration. If anybody in the administration is watching me, go look on YouTube for Moist Critical's video and Asmongold's reaction to it. Millions of people in the 18 to 29-year-old bracket, most of the men are going to be watching that, and they're angry. And it's because they're not seeing enough accountability. People on the right and the left are looking at it and saying, what do I see? I see a lot of paradoxes. Like, why was the Trump administration leaning into anti-vax stuff, and now Trump just got a vaccine a week ago? Like, what's with all this, crypto stuff? Like, what's with these business deals? Like, why are these people that we've been told are going to be arrested not being arrested? And whether that stuff's right or wrong, it's the optics. And people are asking hard questions about that and getting angry now. So if you want to know the 18 to 29-year-olds, talk to Barron. He'll tell you who to watch. I think that's what it comes down to.
I'm telling you, everybody, never have we ever been able to hold the administration, everybody accountable. This stuff that's coming out, we've talked about it. I don't agree with student loan forgiveness because, again, too, when you made the choice to go to college and to take out a loan, why should the person who's a plumber who works at a factory with their tax dollars pay for your college degree? It's not fair. But We do know for a fact now that the the White House has just agreed to restart student loan forgiveness for over 2.5 million borrowers in 2 income-driven repayment plans after blocking them earlier this year. This is big, and this is a lot to do with the teachers. Linda McMahon settled with the American Federation of Teachers, allowing income contingent repayment for teachers. So let me know your thoughts on this. Thank you so much. Our boy Jim Barbato with the super chat said, victory. Let's go. I love it. Hey, that's what we want every single day. MAGA first, baby. Victory at the highest level for Americans. I love it. Show our boy Jim some love in the chat. Again, a lot of people upset, everybody. They're talking about a lot of different things about how the Republican GOP can circumvent the 60-vote threshold to get the government back in order. Here's from the leader, Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
South Dakota, Senator Toons, welcome back, sir. So my buddy Kevin Hassett was on TV earlier this morning saying maybe the shutdown will end this week. What are your thoughts, Senator Thune?
Well, I hope Kevin Hassett's right, Larry. You know, maybe he'll be a prophetic voice in this circumstance. We'll see when Democrats roll back into town here. As you pointed out, they had their big, protest this weekend, got all their left-wing groups satisfied all over the country. And it seems like at least now they ought to come back to their senses and realize that shutting down the government's not good for anybody. And I think they're starting to feel the heat on that. It's just not a defensible position in the long term. And I think, frankly, that if they don't vote to open up the government, and we'll give them an opportunity here in about an hour, there will be another vote to open up the government, that they're going to have to start explaining to the American people why they consistently vote to shut down the government at a time when there are important priorities that need to be funded, whether that's air traffic control or TSA or Border Patrol, law enforcement, our troops, obviously, first and foremost. Those are all things that very shortly here are not going to get paid if we don't, the government doesn't open up.
Senator Thune, I just don't understand, among other things. So the Democrats voted in favor in the Appropriations Committee for military spending. Now they're against that. Now they're against that. They won't let it even come to the floor, if I'm not mistaken. And they're holding it hostage to a $1 trillion plus Obamacare subsidy, which is going to people here in New York. Somebody did the calculation, Tip Insights or one of the think tanks. People earning $300,000 a year would be eligible for these Obamacare Democratic subsidies. That's crazy. Those are not low-income people. Those are not people that need help. Those are people that are doing very well, $300,000 a year. So let me get this right. No defense. People in harm's way are not going to get their combat pay. Meanwhile, people with $300,000 a year are going to get Democratic subsidies for Obamacare that they don't need. Senator Thune, you got to help me out on this. I don't understand any of it.
I'm at a loss, Larry. I mean, we put the defense appropriations bill on the floor last week, and all it was is a cloture vote on the motion to proceed. They would have 2 subsequent 60-vote thresholds where they could block the bill if they wanted to. This was simply to get on the bill that funds the military, and they voted against it. I mean, I don't know how you explain that. I don't know how you defend that, but you're absolutely right. I mean, they're obsessing about these Obamacare premium tax credits, these subsidies, as you point out, which do go to a lot of rich people. In fact, in some states, I've seen people making $500,000 or $600,000 a year that are still getting these tax credits. It was a COVID thing. COVID's gone. COVID's over. It's time to move on. And, trying to hijack the federal government in exchange for a $1.5 trillion in new spending and to bail out a program that is failing and is driving insurance premiums up for people in the individual marketplace, I don't know how you defend and explain that. And I think that's starting to sink in with the American people. The Democrats they're going to own this. And like I said, we'll give them another vote this evening to open up the government, see what they do. You
have said to me and other people many, many times, you're more than happy to talk about the Obamacare story after ACR funds the government. I mean, you're willing to negotiate, as far as I can tell. I don't know what
Again, everybody, it's all about saving Obamacare. The number one thing that is the legacy of Barack Hussein Obama is his healthcare plan. Well, guess what? It doesn't work. Like you just heard them. People making $500,000-$600,000 a year getting these subsidies. There's no logic to what they're saying. Everything across the board makes no sense in the eyes of common sense people. And again, more of this is coming out where judges are trying to literally arrest ICE agents that are trying to deport criminal, illegal aliens. Like, you cannot make this stuff up, everybody. We're just showing you the facts of what's going on here, everybody. If you appreciate this, this is from Breitbart News. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Our boy Jim Barbato with the popcorn. Let's go. Show Jim, OG of the channel, some love in the chat, as well as Marker951. Let's go. Said, hey, Joel, April made me do it. Keep up the good work, Joel. I love it. April, we appreciate you so much, as well as Alice and everybody that helps out with the channel. I love it. Show Marker951 and our boy Jim some love in the chat. You cannot reason when there is no common sense on the other side.
They should believe you. You've been around a long time. You're the majority leader. You know, Schumer knows you. It's not like you need an introduction. This is the part I don't get. What's wrong with sitting down and talking after the smoke clears and we have some financing of these key operations?
Right, and I think honestly, again, it's hard to explain. They want a guaranteed outcome, Larry. They want these Obamacare subsidies, which to extend them for 10 years, which is what they're insisting on, is a $400 billion price tag. This was a COVID-era plus-up in the subsidy that people in Obamacare get. You know, it used to be 400% of poverty. They took the income caps off. There are zero premium policies. A lot of people don't even know they're covered because the insurance companies are incentivized to auto-enroll as many people as they can. The insurance company gets paid, and there are a lot of people across the country that don't even know they have a policy. So it is I'm happy to have the conversation about the unaffordability of Obamacare and what we might be able to do to fix that. But you can't do that while the government is being held hostage. And but they want a guaranteed outcome. That's what they continue to insist upon. And I'm offering them a vote. You know, they want to get their proposal out there. We're happy to take a vote on it. But so far, they seem dug in. And again, I think this is a lot less about a solution to that problem that they say they are trying to fix, and a lot more about having a political issue and satisfying that far left base that was, you know, marching in places around the country this last weekend.
Yeah, 250 years too late. So last one, I guess there's a meeting at the White House tomorrow for everybody, for Republicans rather. Look, if the Democrats don't want to cooperate, then Russ Vought will pull the trigger. The budget director will pull the trigger. Unnecessary staff, unnecessary programs. Katie by the door. That's the way I read it. What do you think, sir?
Well, you've been in that room, Larry.
Yep.
And there are, and obviously Russ Vought would love to pull that trigger and do some downsizing. And honestly, this is where that's going to go. This is what the Democrats have done to themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if they want to open up the government, all these issues that are being talked about go away. But if you put this administration in a position where they have to manage a shutdown and they have to make hard decisions about where we're going to move money, how we're going to allocate resources, which agencies, departments are going to get more or less or not at all, which employees are essential, which aren't. You know, those are the decisions now that Russ Vought and his people are going to be tasked with making. And I'd be willing to bet the Democrats are not going to like a lot of those decisions.
You know, your colleague and my friend, Senator John Kennedy, was here a week ago or so, and he said Russ Vought is preparing for this day since puberty. He's completely ready. Since puberty, Senator Toons.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it might go back farther than that, actually, Larry. I think this was his kindergarten project.
Let's go. Reduce the size of government. Stop the wasteful spending. And you know what? I just want to bring some context to this, everybody, of what you're seeing at the screen. So there's demolition that is happening at the White House right now. And they're building out the big golden ballroom. And what I love is that it's going to cost $250 million. And guess what? Who's going to pay for it? Not the American taxpayer. It's Trump and his personal group of friends. That's what I call, he don't even take a salary, everybody. The President of the United States is supposed to get a $400,000 a year salary. Trump doesn't even take a salary. That's when you know you've got the right man in office, when it's not about the money. Al Young, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Show Al Young some love in the chat. I love it. Member of the channel, we thank you so much for your support. Again, the votes, the Trump meeting today, everything that's happening, there's the nuclear option to get rid of the Senate filibuster, but that is like a last resort. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. How long should we wait before that is executed?
With Senate Republicans in the Rose Garden. That's today. Senate Democrats failing for the 11th time to pass a House-passed measure to reopen the government. Let's bring in Florida Congressman Mike Herodopoulos. He is a member of the House Financial Services Committee. Congressman, I want to get your thoughts here because, you know, we're in the 4th week now, and you've got, you know, millions of these federal workers that aren't getting paid, unpaid federal workers, families that are relying on food programs. We've seen Governor Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, you know, they're now trying to message that it's the Republicans' fault that people aren't getting their SNAP benefits. How long can this continue?
Well, it's frustrating. As you know, many weeks ago, we passed to keep the government open. It's common sense. It's what Democrats did 13 times during the Biden years. It's a clean CR to your viewers. That means no added politics, just a continuation of how we're spending money. We even agreed to their terms as far as the date, November 21. But they switched gears on us despite those negotiations. They shut the government down. Now we're waiting to get 60 votes in the Senate so we can get back to work and make sure the American comeback continues. Because we have the highest stock market in history. We have, of course, low interest rates. Gas prices are finally coming down. We need to open the government back up so we can continue the American comeback.
But aren't you concerned? I mean, we've seen the polling shift. I mean, look, government shutdowns are just inherently unpopular, whoever the party is that's responsible for that. But are you worried that if this continues with Republicans controlling the White House, the Senate, and the House, that this could hurt the party in the midterms next year?
Well, I think we always need to do the right thing. Of course, the politics are out there. The Democrats, candidly, are sometimes better at it than we are. But we want to do the right thing. We want to make sure that our men and women in the military get paid. We want to keep those air traffic controllers in place. It's just a common sense decision to keep the government open. And it's so frustrating dealing with the Democrats right now. They're basically saying we're only going to open the government if you want to increase spending by $1.5 trillion and take away all those good reforms he put back in the big bill back in July, meaning we reform Medicaid. We finally had those tax implications in place that could grow the economy. But the Democrats think, hey, you know what? We have nothing to lose. We've never been more unpopular. They have a civil war going on. They're about to name a communist the mayor of New York City. So they're desperate. And I guess they think the best thing to do is shut down the government. I disagree, and it's the reason why I'm glad Mike Johnson's holding firm. And I hope we can find a deal in the Senate so we can move the country forward and get back to work.
Well, and we're going to have Speaker Johnson.
Let me tell you this, y'all. Again, when they have nothing to lose, this is what they're doing. No leader in the party, no clear leader. The base, they have the lowest approval rating ever out of any Congress ever. Democrats do, and it just shows you where they're at. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. And if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button so we can take care of you every day with the top breaking news. I want to give some love to Anthony Bailey. Let's go with the super chat. Say, keep up with the good job, Joel. The truth will set you free. Amen, brother. Show our boy Anthony some love in the chat. Remember, when you give on this channel, whether it's a membership or you give a super chat, we donate live on stream. We partner with you on the 22nd of every single month, live on stream. We donate to a local charity. Guys, it means the world to me because we are changing lives. We give to local charities where the majority of the money goes to the actual people that need it the most. And that's what I want this channel to be known for. You hear me talk every day. You hear my heart every single day. This is why I want to grow this community, grow this voice, and bring good change to this world. I want to give some special love to those that have given today. B1 Sly One, thank you so much for the super chat. Colleen Beaver, Jane Joe, our boy Jim Barbato, OG of the channel, Georgina Budney, Andrea Parker, Joghaws, Robert Cash, thank you so much, brother. Donna Barksdale, Marker 951, Al Young, Virginia Friday, member of the channel for 3 months, and our boy Anthony Bailey. Show him some love in the chat, everybody. Remember, we're here to serve you, bring you the breaking news. Don't forget, if you're on Medicare, y'all, call up our partners with Chapter. It's free. They compare every single Medicare plan. 667-895-3015. They are going to make sure that you get taken care of. The number one thing that I've seen is that there's a lot of people that have been taken advantage of. It makes me sick, and I want to make sure that we do everything we can to honor you, to help you out, to serve you, and that's why we partner with them. They're free. They've saved people on this channel tons and tons of money. I know they can help you out too. Again, 667-895-3015. The link is in the description if you want to go to the website and submit there. But just want to say thank you to everybody that supports us. Catherine Castano Rex, let's go with the super chat. I just put the email in there, Catherine. We appreciate you so much. Daniel Printy, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Show Daniel some love in the chat. Thank you, everybody that has supported the channel. We love you. Appreciate you for sharing our videos on X, Facebook, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.